Hi, you with Julian and a review of Lucrecia Dalt's album I, upside down exclamation, I, exclamation mark. She's Colombian and moved to Berlin, and the overwhelming reference point on this album is Nicolas Jaar, and even Dark Side as well. Nicolas Jaar, the Chilean-American artist, and his project Dark Side and his solo work, particularly Space Is Only Noise, that iconic album from the last decade. So she is Colombian, but actually released music on Nicolas Jaar's Other People label as well. So it's not that wild a thing. Also interesting, a Colombian artist is recording in the electronic music hotbed of Berlin as well, which might have some impact on what's going on here. But if Nicolas Jaar is one reference point, I certainly think that Rosalia is the other. And this is almost like an alpha omega situation. Rosalia's MOTOMAI, one of the albums of the year, is wildly experimental, and Lucrecia Dalt is an experimental artist, but this is much more tempered towards being easy to listen to. And I do listen to it as well. It really made me want Rosalia to do. There's one track on MOTOMAI that sounds like it could be from 1950s Havana, and I just wish she'd do a whole album of that, because it would be amazing. And that's almost what this one is. I guess it probably will be in my albums of the year, but probably towards the back. It is. If there are any flaws here, it isn't always really compelling. It can drift off into background music, but it is really, really, really good. And I really like the blend of electronica, sound effects and processing, added to the sort of old school feel vibe of salsa music. The reference point that really came out was Mulatu Astake, who is an Ethio jazz is a genre of its own, and one of my favorite compilation albums is Mulatu Astake's is it London, New York, Addis, a 1967 album of Ethio jazz, which is absolutely amazing. It's got this, some of the tracks have got this really sort of almost Twin Peaks dream jazz going on, which is definitely on this album as well. Tracks like Enviada, really good use of decaying effects, and they're not shy about the electronic effects. Occasionally it can feel a little bit novelty, but most of the time it's on a level par with the more sort of natural Latin feel to the music, and not anything to do with Latin music that's prominent now either, which is the more sort of the Bad Bunny end of things, getting into reggaeton and stuff like that. This is a much older school flavour, which I really liked. Just wish it was a bit longer, to be honest. And I say that not because I don't like short albums, but if you've got something like Daytona from Pusha T, the level of intensity on each track makes it feel much more like an album, whereas a few of these drift a little bit. Still very, very good. I love the prominent woodwinds on this album. I'm not going through track by track. The woodwind instruments, the flutes and that, can either be quite mournful or very sort of blinking into the sunlight. And that track after Enviada as well, before it, Bochinche or Bochinche, is got a real nice salsa vibe to it, which I wish came through a little bit more. A lot of it is got this sort of gentle tropicalia sway to it, which is very appealing. But that Wurlitzer fairground organ is a constant, and really, I really appreciated that coming through. So the album overall is really good and really tasteful, and I really like the fact that it hews closer to old school Latin music. I think for it to be absolutely fantastic, it would be a bit more compelling in places. And the other thing is the Nicolas Jaar Space Is Only Noise, gentle sort of clattering woodblock style percussion is overdone a tiny bit. But overall, and it is a short review, it's a short album. And it does have quite a slow start as well. But I really liked it. It'll probably be in my albums of the year. And just a tad more compelling at times. Or probably half an hour longer, where we could have got a few more absolute fully fleshed Latin bangers, or at least, swayful, dancey Latin tunes, as there are a couple on here, and I think, well, I'll have a couple of those, and that would really push the album. So Lucrecia Dalt's I'm going to give a 8 out of 10. I said it was short.